is the new movement, the prison industrial complex. People that's challenging the prison industrial complex. Now, this is a march that's going to take place in August. The Millions for Prisoners Human Rights March in Washington. It's being organized as we speak. Now, why March and why August? One thing about it, only thing marches do is bring attention. That's it. You know, so you got to look at ways, it's just another way to bring attention. Because we in an age of politically, everything is about numbers. So numbers make people move. You know, and when I was in Virginia, a friend of mine, his mother, she ran an organization because they was trying to change certain laws. And the politician was telling her that this certain bill wouldn't get out of committee because when they look in the galley, they only see 11 people. Now it's 40,000 people that was locked up in Virginia, but they only see 11 people family members. They was like, yo, y'all not making us push this bill and have it voted on. So that's why everything is numbers. Now, when you talk about the 13th Amendment, you know, to change any amendment, it gotta be ratified by at least some 2/3 of the states. How many states are there in the United States?
50.
50. That's exactly. Some people say 50, 51, 52. I'll be laughing, but it's 50 states. So 2/3 of 50 states is what, either 33 or 38, somewhere around there. Now, technically, I don't really see that as likely or possible because, you know, these Americans is real sensitive when it comes to their Constitution. They think it's the greatest document ever made since the Magna Carta. If you don't know what the Magna Carta is, you need to go do some research. All right, so this march is taking place. Like I said, I am the co-chair. This is the radio show that we got. It come on every Saturday at 7:30, No Shackles Radio. Today, this Saturday coming up, I'm gonna have the People's Platform. I'm the co-host for this as well. Now, in this day and time, what's different is we have the internet. So it's like, it's not a media blackout for everything. So we can do what we want to do, but it all goes down with support as well. Because you'll have content made available to make you more educated. Now, what I want to touch on, that's what I'm doing. You know, because I'm an activist, I'm an advocate for prison rights and all of that. Why? Because I got a vested interest. I still keep in contact with about 15 different people in the feds and in states. These are my brothers. You know, so it's like, one of the biggest issues we got right now is private prisons. Now, if y'all don't know about private prisons, right, private prisons, the one thing that they do is that they cut services. So the services that you're supposed to have, and most services they're going to cut is medical, which is a big expense, and they're going to cut the food. Now, when you're dealing with private prisons, first thing you got to back up one step and ask yourself, how do we monetize a person? And if we say that I'm sending you to prison because you fell from social grace and I want you to be rehabilitated. How can I be rehabilitated if you sending me to a prison that makes profit off of me? See, the contradictions falls right there. And this is what we have to understand, that it's a business, you know, and it's a concept that we have to understand. Like, when they see black people, because black people make up a big part of these prisons, you know, and then everybody else. You know, you had a DA in Chicago, and this was in the newspaper I read. They got caught. They was actually playing a game called Niggas by the Pound.
Right?
Yes. Whoever lock up the most niggas at the end of the month get a steak.
Wow.
So these are the people that's prosecuting. Everybody's in cahoots. This is what you got to realize. Y'all know who that fella is? He was on the news maybe a year ago. Y'all know who that fella is? Take a look at him. Look at this lady right here. So who you think this fella is? Look at her. Look at this disgusting disdain.
That's not prison.
It's a judge.
Read it, somebody. Read it out loud. I can't hear y'all.
Who sentenced around 3,000 children in a similar manner was later sentenced himself to 28 years in prison for financial crimes related to his acceptance of $2.2 million as a finder's fee for the construction of a for-profit facility in which to house these so-called delinquents.
Now let's put the spotlight back on him. Now, He's from Pennsylvania. He was sending these children to Ohio. Only reason that this case became news because some of the children died in that juvenile facility. And it's crazy because some of the charges that these children had was something like, one of them had something like disrespecting the teacher. You know how many teachers are disrespected? You know? So this dude right here, you know, he's supposed to have 28 years in prison. Now the thing about it is that I had the opportunity one time to read a book. It was called Why So Many Black Men Are in Prison by D. Booth, DeMarco Booth. In that book, I think he was from Tennessee, he was showing how the governor of his state was pushing for longer sentence and pushing for private prisons while the governor's wife was on the board to these private prisons. So you already see the connection between private prison and politics. They go hand in hand. Enough of him. Now, actually, so these are the two biggest corporations. They own the stock exchange. Now, if you think they wasn't making no money that they would allow you to invest and be on the stock exchange, is Poncho still on the stock exchange, the neighborhood grocery store, man? Hell no. But these prisons is on the stock exchange. And we should all be alarmed at that. So who the hell is they reforming or rehabilitating? Definitely. Now, what I found interesting, you see these dates, this graph started at 2000 and ended at 2009. Graphs will tell you a lot. Now, I think private prison started somewhere between 88, 89. It wasn't even a blimp. Now, what made private prison pick up? Because the politics, the laws changed. Now, how many of y'all ever heard of something called truth and sentence law? They call it the 85%. New York is actually under the 80. You get locked up in New York, you actually do 85%. It's about, now the feds changed the law to 85% in certain states that changed their law to 85% got certain grant money. Now, 85% means is that when you get sentenced, you gotta do 85% of your time. Technically, you don't really get the 85% because you gotta earn the 85% for getting good time. So technically, you're doing 93% of your time unless you're earning good time to do the 85%. So what that means is that, you know, somebody gets sentenced, and I've seen this, 100 years, they got to do 85 years. Unless they, I don't know, vampires, I don't know nobody that's going to do 85 years in prison. So, you see the explosion. Once again, this is what they get off per inmate. Some rose is up. But the fact that they can actually calculate how much they can get off a prisoner is saying something. And most of these private corporations got contracts with, with whatever state government that they got to keep these prisons full at least 90%. Well, how you going to keep prisons full at 90% if you said for the last 15 years crime rate been dropping? That sounds like an oxymoron to me. Unless I'm a moron. You know, so, but they know most people is stupid. They know that most people, they gonna do magic in front of your face and you think that, oh, that's what it is. Now, these two concepts is real interesting. Y'all know what outsourcing is?
Yeah, you take the work from one place, when you should do work overseas and stuff.
Yeah, whether it's manufacturing or services. And just recently, I had to get something done on my computer, and some lady from India did some remote control for my anti-software to get it working. So it's services too, not just manufacturing. Now, how many of y'all heard of insourcing? God, it's a reason why. You know, insourcing is they bringing the manufacturing back, but they putting it in prisons.
That's a fact.
Now, this statement right here, this is a bold statement. Once you read it, that according to global research, March 31st, 2014, that's like 2 years ago, this is the contributor, Vicky Palace. He said, Oregon State Representative Kevin Mannix recently urged Nike to cut its production in Indonesia and bring it to his state, telling a shoe manufacturer that there won't be any transportation costs. We're offering you competitive prison labor here. is some bold shit right here, yo. If you really think about what he just saying, that yo, you can come here and make your sneakers that cost $150 cheaper in our prison than you can do in Indonesia when you probably paying them 30 cents an hour. That's deep.
So we buying the Nikes.
Of course, now you need to boycott. Now, this a pretty picture right here, right? Do you want a strong U.S. economy? Y'all know what Unicor is? Because that's who made that statement. Any of y'all ever heard of Unicor?
Come on, y'all ain't heard of Unicor? Get the kids and send them away. Get in trouble, go to Unicor.
Unicor is the Fed, and the Feds, that's the people that make, that's the manufacturing ring for the Feds. See, the government is down with the lick. Do you want a strong U.S. economy? They ain't saying we're going to bring the manufacturing back to Detroit and have Motown Live again. We're going to bring certain things back to, what's that, Buffalo, upstate. You know, we're going to bring all the stuff back here. They say, yo, so how they going to make stuff strong again? That's interesting.
Make America great.
This is one of the best independent news organizations out. I used to get their book every year. Now, Project Censor, they represent represent undertold stories or stories that's not being told by mainstream media. Prisoners earning 23 cents an hour in U.S. federal prisons are manufacturing high-tech electronic components for Patriot Advanced Capability 3 missiles, launchers for TOW, which is an anti-tank missiles, other guided missile systems. We all may think that slavery has ended, but we soon forget about the prison system. Other prisons produce materials include night vision goggles, body armor, camouflage units, radio communication devices, light systems, landmine sweepers, and battleship anti-aircraft guns. Now they had to pay one of us to do that same job. That job probably start from anywhere from $20 to $35 an hour. They paying these brothers and sisters 23 cents. 23 cents. You know how much a Patriot missile costs? $2 million. And they shoot them like it ain't nothing.